Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
Seth from tobaccoadvent.com.
And together, along with you, the three of us, we are Marco Ben's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again, and welcome to day 3 of Tobacco Advent 2020.
So we must be Tobacco Advent, and we must have been in a quarantine because we are on day 3, and I am already feeling a head buzz.
What?
A little bit. Two tobaccos in. This normally happens on Tobacco Advent when we film, but normally we film 10 episodes at a time, plus 2 weekly videos. Day 2, I'm a lightweight these days because I've not been in the shop, not been smoking nearly as much this year as in previous years. So I'm already feeling it.
Well, drink more.
If you are joining us for the first time, this is Tobacco Advent, daily dose of videos that we're going to put on from now until the day of Christmas. And most of the tobaccos that we'll be smoking this year have been submitted by viewers like you, hopefully. If you have not submitted a tobacco and would like to, the address is downstairs.
In the doobly-doo, yeah.
Yep. And as a thank you for those that do share, just a small amount, enough for 2 pipes. As a thank you, you will receive in response a
Cornament.
This is missing its hook. Not for smoking.
I don't provide them a hook anymore.
Oh, do you not?
Yeah, they got to get their own hook.
Well, then the one you receive will
because
be
of
hook.
FDA deeming, I'm not allowed to send you a pipe, but we will send you a cornament. Looks just like this.
Also, for the FDA stuff, does it count? Because we're sending it. They have paid us in tobacco, so it's not a free. It's not a free.
We could
gift.
argue it 3 different ways.
Whatever. Don't smoke it. Okay, this is gentleman's agreement. Don't smoke it. But once it leaves us, you do what you want. And a 3D printed ornament. So today's tobacco came with this great letter. It said Vizier's Quest. I'm going to butcher some of these because there are some words in here I have never seen in the English language before. I like to speculate that the Magi who came from the east to search for and honor he who is born King of the Jews didn't do that on their own. I think it's possible that the Parthian king, Phraates the Fourth, perhaps through one of his court officials called a vizier, sent them on their quest. To celebrate the season this year, I want to share not just one, but 2 and maybe even 3 blends to choose from. The first is a Balkan blend made from tangy, sweet stoked red Virginias with fragrant and spicy Orientals, extra basma, smaller amounts of Yanij and Samsun, and finished with a wisp of smoky Latakia. I call it Marmara, after the region where Asia and Europe meet in Istanbul. The Orientals come from places equidistant from Marmara. I'm going to skip the description for the other tobaccos. It just says, enjoy. May these tobaccos help you continue having a great Advent season, and may you have a Merry Christmas and a happy and definitely better New Year. Kent, a.k.a. Wheeled Piper 2.
Okay, so we're going to do something that we don't normally do, partially because we're starting this off with a few number of tobaccos, but we're going to smoke all 3 blends that were provided, but we're not going to smoke them 3 days in a row. So over the course of the next week, you'll see us smoke all 3 of these from Kent. So we're starting with
Marmara, and I will read the descriptions of the other tobaccos as we smoke them.
Okay, cool. So these are going into our own cornaments from our tree,
which we're not smoking either.
What?
What? We're not smoking. You don't smoke the cornaments.
Oh, he thrice wrapped these. That's fantastic.
Remember the time that you didn't do that with tobaccos from Tobacco Advent, and there was a funk coming out of your suitcase?
I was trying to figure out what in the world was going on with my suitcase. I'm smelling all my clothes. I was on a trip, and we found this tobacco. The tobacco itself wasn't bad, but if you don't know that what's coming out of your suitcase is...
Well, the smell from 3 or 4 different blends of tobacco.
And that might have been the year that we said, send us your least favorite tobacco, too.
Yeah, it could be. No, because it would have all smelled like Lane 1Q or aromatic. Not Lane 1Q, but it would have been Look, we know our audience. They're English smokers, not aromatic smokers. Many of them, their least favorite tobacco is an aromatic. Maybe
you
not laying
recall,
on cue, but
I did not enjoy that year.
no.
So no, they did not send us
and neither did they. So it was fun. That was awesome. I think it was like halfway through that we pulled the ripcord on that and said, you know what? If you're still sending stuff, send what you like.
The comments too were like, we're not enjoying this at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to pivot. All right. So by the way that description was written, I get the sense that this is a homemade blend. Otherwise, I imagine someone else would have come up with the name.
Yeah.
All right, so today's question comes from Rory. Rory asks, keeping sane, cheerful, and busy during the pandemic, especially during the holiday season, is difficult. With so many things canceled and plans changed, how do you manage to continue traditions and keep up the holiday spirit?
Great question. Well, this year, Jandy and I were supposed to go up to northern Kentucky to hang out with some friends of ours who recently moved from Cincinnati to Hawaii. And their plan was to come back and spend Thanksgiving with their family, and we were going to join them for that.
Well, and a little bit extra context, too, is they moved to Hawaii to be on site at a job that immediately, almost after moving, became remote.
Yes.
So the same job that was being done remotely is now being done remotely, yes, but much closer to the office.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, his company told him that though he could do the work from Cincinnati, they would rather that he be on site in Hawaii. Terrible, terrible position to be in. But it is sort of our tradition to go to Ohio. Now, my mother-in-law passed away 2 years ago, so it's less of a draw to go to Dayton than it once was. But it has kind of been our tradition to head up that way, because then part of the trappings of going to Ohio is going to the lights that are at Clifton Mill, to go to Young's Dairy Farm and have some ice cream, to go see all the neat old windows that used to be in the Reich's department store window. They now have those in a museum area in Dayton. And all of those things were part of our tradition. And while we did enjoy having a 4-day weekend alone, because our live-in daughter, son-in-law, and 4 grandkids took a trip of their own, we were at home alone during that holiday. And it was just odd.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad by any means. And Boy and his family came over for Thanksgiving dinner. But we rarely actually have Thanksgiving dinner at home. So many times we're away. We used to go a couple times. We went to a place called the Red Brick Inn in Ohio for Thanksgiving dinner, and that was killer food. And we didn't do that. So it's not a problem so much yet with sanity as it is a change in tradition. And I don't know if everything was reset and started over and there was no such thing as COVID. I don't think that there's yet to be anything that we've adopted that we would say, oh, this is the new tradition. So we'll have to see how Christmas goes.
Man, do you know that one tradition that's not holiday specific, but has been sparked by COVID is you're spending a lot more time connecting with your family remotely. I know Mom has been doing the same. Setting up and maintaining now deep into the quarantine and everything else, those regular check-ins.
That's true.
For me, I think we're better about that at the start of everything. It opened a door of opportunity to connect with people that we hadn't seen because there's really no reason not to. But a lot of that has kind of faded away as time has gone on. I think like many people, in a lot of ways, we are busier now, have more social obligations. I think there's just there's an expectation that social obligations now require less effort, and so you can schedule more of them, and so it feels like there's more going on. For us, the biggest change I think for for holiday wise is Thanksgiving. We my wife's grandmother is in an assisted living facility, and if she leaves the facility, she has to spend 2 weeks in quarantine in a room. We took her out for Thanksgiving, and that meant that for Thanksgiving with my wife's family, everybody wore their masks inside the house at all times. While we were eating, we spread out further, and so not everybody sat at one large table, but we sat in 2 separate rooms. But I think that ultimately will result in us breaking her out now a few times between then and Christmas, because if she has to be in quarantine and we want her to join us for Christmas, we might as well just go ahead and...
She's in a lot of solitude now, right?
Right.
Even when she's not in quarantine, she's not spending a lot of time with people from the, whatever you call the facility she's in, right?
Yeah, she spends a lot of time in a room. And so for us, you know, just weighing out the important things. So that's difficult. Other things, really, I don't know that a whole lot else has changed in terms of tradition-wise. You know, I'm fortunate enough. My kids are young. You know, me and my wife are both in good health, and so for us, in terms of, you know, staying sane, I also have been blessed. I know this with positivity, just as a psychological strength, and so it doesn't get to me the same way it does to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So.
Seth and I, a couple years ago, took this self-assessment called Strength Finder 2.0, and both of us have in our top 5 strengths positivity. And it's interesting because we've always been positive people, but to see that in print, that as a result of a half-hour assessment,
Right.
that shows up as being one of our strengths, and it's like, well, that's true.
It's a
And if it weren't true, I would have been fine with it because
Right.
I'm such a positive person.
Yeah, something like that to me is a humbling reminder that not everybody is as fortunate in that regard as I am, and so, you know, it's easy as somebody who is naturally positive to become frustrated or irritated when other people are taking things a lot more harshly than naturally I feel like they should.
That's not a contradiction.
Well, it might be. I mean, oh look, being positive doesn't mean you don't get irritated. You know, being positive, it can be irritating when people around you are not are not, and so you know they're being party poopers and you want them to stop. Can happen, and so it's good to see that that's, you know, something that is out of my control, really, at this point, and so it has helped open my eyes to the need to be more kind and caring and patient.
I'll tell you what I'm positive about. I'm positive I didn't put enough tobacco in my pipe.
Well, that's okay because we need to wrap up.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
Would you smoke this again?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. You know what's interesting? It wasn't anywhere in the description. I am getting a little hint of chocolate. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Wasn't on the list. I'm drinking coffee, so maybe that's influencing a little
probably.
bit. But
Probably.
But this is pleasant.
Spicy was in there, and I definitely was picking up, even more than the last one, is picking up Latakia in this.
Mm-hmm.
Or the last one had Perique. I don't remember. It was yesterday, a whole day ago. So I would smoke that again, and I look forward to smoking the next 2 in what should be a series of tobaccos.
Thank you, Kent. We really appreciate this. Thanks again for your continued support of Tobacco Advent. We do appreciate that. All right, guys, make it a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya!